Lyre of the Lion by TheNightNinja2, Chapter 33, On My Shoulders. Lucy was fascinated by the foods Mirabelle was giving to eat. They smelled wonderful and had a spicy aroma around them. Mirabelle caught her sister looking at some of them and offered her some. It was then Lucy found she didn't quite enjoy spicy things as much as she thought she might, though the arepas were delightful. As Koryarkin explained the idiocy of the duffers, Mirabelle found herself giggling at the stupidity. Even Antonio knew boiled potatoes wouldn't grow. "Your Majesty seems very knowledgeable about magic," said Koryarkin. "I am. He seems to listen to me, though I do not know if it is the result of what I am, or magic of my own," said Mirabelle. Koryarkin looked at her closely. "Oh, of course. I'm surprised I didn't see it sooner. I don't suppose there are any magical means to make the duffers have a bit more agency in their thinking, is there?" said Mirabelle. "I do not know. They are a stubborn bunch, and the chief is the worst of them," said Koryarkin. "Perhaps their fear of magic could be used as an advantage. If we get the chief to admit his idiocy, the others will agree, and then the seeds of doubt could be sown," said Mirabelle. "If only it were that simple, Your Majesty. Their minds are about as thick as molasses," sighed Koryarkin. Mirabelle chuckled. "This is what I call persuasion," she said, lighting a ball of fire in her hand. "Mira!" exclaimed Lucy. "Don't worry, I won't actually throw it at them. But it's the idea that I might that will hopefully make them listen." "That's mean! They're not bright enough to know you won't throw it," said Lucy. "You said I needed to find a way to persuade them without my sword," said Lucy. "You know what I meant," said Lucy. The two were bickering all the way back to the others. "Edmund, Caspian, tell Mirabelle she can't use her powers to make the duffers listen," pleaded Lucy. "The what?" asked Caspian. "Those monopods. They were invisible, but since I removed the spell, well—" "Oh, never mind. I'll explain later. Just tell Mirabelle not to persuade them with fire," said Lucy. Mira had a sly, almost predatory smirk on her face as she held a fireball in her hand. "Fire fixes stupid," grinned Mirabelle. Louisa laughed. "Trust me, she's more terrifying with her blade pointed at you than a ball of fire," laughed Louisa. Mirabelle changed it into a ball of water, which she then threw at her sister. "What was that for?" exclaimed Louisa. Mirabelle was in a very good mood after being told by Aslan that she was allowed to stay in Narnia, and launched another ball of water, this time at Lucy. "Mirabelle!" exclaimed Lucy, and started chasing her. Mirabelle laughed and ran. Louisa also began chasing her sister. Eventually the girls tired, and Mirabelle attempted to reason with the duffers. 2 balls of fire, 1 in each hand, and a magical wind blowing her hair. Her eyes were now intentionally glowing gold. She also decided to make her voice echo slightly. The effect was terrifying and alluring, and any with half a brain would have listened to her. The duffers did not have half a brain, or even a quarter of a brain. The best Mirabelle's efforts was able to do was make the duffers shut up around her, which was at least something. Drinian and Mirabelle both gave their accounts of the journey to Koryarkin, which resulted in a very beautiful, detailed map that could zoom in and out of different spots, showing bits of islands in great detail. Mirabelle wondered if she could make it show more, parts of the islands that she and Drinian did not see. Much like she had during the storm, Mirabelle concentrated with the magic in the air. She had a lot more practice now. She allowed herself to be used as a channel for the raw magic and poured it out into the map. While the map ahead of Koryarkin's island remained just ocean, the islands they had already discovered filled out even more, to the amazement of everyone, including Koryarkin. Edmund caught the look of love in Drinian's eyes as he looked at Mirabelle. He smiled, happy his sister finally let her heart win over her head. Leaving the island was both sad and a relief. The Dufflepuds, as they were now called, had begun to get on Mirabelle's nerves even if they shut up around her. The Dawn Treader set sail once again, with Mirabelle looking towards her own future with more hope than she had in 15 years. Drinian took her hand in his as they both stared out at the vast ocean before them. "Back in the Encanto, I never would have considered courting, let alone marrying someone, even Mariano, no matter how much I loved him. But now, I'm home, and will never again return to the world that nearly destroyed me. said Mirabelle. You seem so sure Aslan will let you stay, said Drinian. He has already given his permission, said Mirabelle. He has? Asked Drinian. When Lucy read the spell, it revealed everything invisible, including Aslan. He was there the whole time, said Mirabelle. And you asked him? Asked Drinian. Mirabelle nodded. And how will you explain that to the little prince? Said Drinian. I have a plan for when the time comes. I hope Aslan will help a little with that. But I do have a plan, said Mirabelle, as she watched Antonio beat Reapy Cheap in chess again. I'm surprised there hasn't been a fight for your sister's attention yet, said Drinian. Mirabelle laughed. Oh, there has. But they do it behind closed doors, and Louisa does have those she prefers to work with, and those she tends to avoid. I believe the Minotaurs had a 3-day party of their own when Louisa chose to work alongside them. She's always had a soft spot for their kind due to the literature that she reads, said Mirabelle. Who does she not care to work with? Asked Drinian. Lord Rince. His lack of concern for Eustace's well-being back on Dragon Island made her not particularly fond of him. She will work with him if she must, and she won't show her displeasure, but she does not enjoy working with him as much as she does with the others, said Mirabelle. Is everyone in your family as remarkable as you and her? Asked Drinian. Depends on your definition of remarkable. Our eldest sister can make any plant grow with a wave of her hand, but she was favoured by the matriarch of the household, and her personality was twisted, and her true nature stifled because of the expectations of perfection. She finally began showing her true self. It took a bit of time and keeping armour away from us as we bonded, but she's truly blossomed. You might not believe it, but Louisa had so many burdens. I can't remember hearing her laugh very much back in the Encanto. The Dawn Treader has truly worked its magic on her. The work isn't hard for her because of her gift, and she isn't expected to pull more than her own weight here. There are people here that are concerned for her well-being, and all of that is more than she got in the Encanto when she had her gift. Hopefully the lessons she had learned here on the Dawn Treader will carry over when she returns to the Encanto. I know Antonio won't let her forget them, said Mirabelle. And what of your other cousins? Your mother and your father? Aunts, uncles, cousins? Asked Drinian. My Aunt Pepper, Antonio's birth mother, can command the weather with her emotions. She is learning it is not something that should be controlled, as her mother, the matriarch, made her do for 45 years. The weather is meant to be as controlled as our emotions. One of the reasons I struggled to stop any storm that months ago, I have to figure out that I could never have stopped it. I could only minimize the damage it caused. Like anger. Her 2 other children, Dolores and Camilo, one can hear everything from miles away, even a person's heartbeat who is in the valley if she is on the mountain. The other can transform his body into anyone, said Mirabelle. And the others? Asked Drinian. My uncle Felix, the husband of my aunt, has no gift since he married into the family, but he loves her fiercely and is the sun to her clouds. Not even a hurricane her anxiety caused at their wedding could stop him from seeing the day as one of the best of his life. My mother is only older than her 2 siblings by an hour. My mother is a triplet, and she can heal any injury or malady with a meal that she cooked. And their brother, my Uncle Bruno, can see into the future. He can do nothing about the future, but he can see what happens if people do not take the steps to change their destiny, which made him the black sheep of the family for a very long time. He is not married. Then there is my father. He is accident-prone, but he loves his family fiercely. Louisa has always been her father's daughter, and all of us get our musical abilities from him. His accident-prone nature and his body's adverse reaction to bee stings makes him need our mother's cooking rather frequently, but they love each other just as much as Pepper and Felix love each other, said Mirabelle. 13 days they pressed on before land was in sight. The darkness of the island made Mirabelle's skin crawl. Proceed with high caution! Something on that island needs us. But we leave the moment we have it. Reapy Cheap, take Antonio below to safety, and I will hear no words of us being cowards for not exploring it. The magic here is wrong, and I will be playing my lyre and using my powers to give off as much light as I can, said Mirabelle. Suddenly a large shape emerged from the water, and a whale that Antonio had befriended a few days ago rose up to speak with him. We dare not go near those waters. Only creatures waiting to die go in there, said the whale. The whales say that the island is where things go to die, said Antonio. Change of plans. Anchor here. I will go to the island alone and find what needs us.
Are you sure?
Asked Caspian. It will be faster, and the magic will have a harder time bending me to its sick will, said Mirabelle.
May Aslan protect you,
said Caspian.
I am coming as well, said Reepicheep.
No! I will not allow foolish courage when caution is needed, said Mirabelle sternly.
What about me?
Said Louisa. Lulu, this magic makes my skin crawl. If we had a choice, I'd sail away from this island, but I can feel good magic. Human magic crying out for help. It's smarter for me to go alone than risk foul magic hurting anyone I care about, said Mirabelle. She climbed into a rowboat, her lyre clutched to her side and her body glowing brightly as the sun. As she drew near the island, she could hear a voice crying out. She strummed her lyre. Climb on, she said as the wild-looking man came up in her line of sight.
Flee, angel of light! Flee from this place! This is where dreams come true,
he said in a panic. That's the plan, she said as she took the oars. She had set her lyre down, and he got a good look at the ancient treasure of hope.
It is you! Narnia's fire of hope! You have come from the past to rescue me!
Exclaimed the man. Your questions will be answered when we return to the king and his ship. They are anchored just outside these cursed waters, said Mirabelle. There was a speck of light that she could see as a great albatross winged down to show her the way out.
Your selflessness has yet to fail you, daughter of magic,
the bird said to her, and her alone, as it flew past, guiding her back to the Dawn Treader. The darkness disappeared behind them as Mirabelle drew up alongside the Dawn Treader. She was pulled close by both of her sisters, and her hand was taken by Drinian.
You have the bravery of a lion,
he said with a smirk. And it was a lion in the form of a great bird who showed me the way out of there. But I must go play my lyre, and bring some much-needed ease to everyone, she said. She struck up a merry tune, and Drinian brought her a cup of hot spiced wine to settle her nerves. When it was discovered that the man she had rescued was Lord Roop, one of the 7, Caspian was overjoyed.
You look like you need a good long nap, Mira,
said Louisa. I do, but as exhausted as I am, I doubt I'll be able to sleep much, said Mirabelle.
Then at least lie down. Relax for the rest of the afternoon, said Caspian.
Mirabelle nodded and went to her cabin.
I'll go with her. Something tells me she might have a nightmare if left alone, said Louisa.
I'll come as well then. Just because she was brave and didn't show her fear didn't mean she wasn't terrified, said Lucy. Lucy and Louisa entered the cabin and wrapped a shaking Mirabelle in their arms. Do you want to talk about it? Asked Lucy. Mirabelle shook her head.
It's over now. You don't have to be brave around us. You've done enough of that,
said Louisa.
I don't know how. The only person I've ever been able to actually let my guard down around is Peter,
said Mirabelle. What about Drinian? Asked Lucy.
It's not the same. Not yet, said Mirabelle.
Do you want me to get Edmund? He's a bit like Peter, said Lucy.
No, I can handle this. I just need a bit to get over that feeling of what if. What if my nightmares came true, as they could have on that island? But they didn't. And part of me wants to drink myself to sleep so I don't dream. But that isn't a good way to deal with anything. I was always going to have this weight of responsibility on my shoulders. All of Narnia. One day my own children. Aslan's expectations. The expectations I put on myself. All on my shoulders. I'm the first princess of Narnia. I don't have predecessors to compare my actions to. I'm the one who will be the example. So I have to be a good example. I can't be perfect, but I can damn well try to be in public view, because the burdens of the crown are bigger than whatever Isabella was under, and she cracked. I have to be stronger, better, because I am the one who will be looked to, since I am the hope of the kingdom. In the Encanto it would be no better. Different, but because of the identity I had to forge for myself, people listened to me. I would have to do better a job than Alma, because the leader must learn from the mistakes of her predecessor. I can't leave too many mistakes to learn from, or those who will follow after me will spend their whole lives fixing them, said Mirabelle. She didn't care if she was rambling. Fairy tales always made it look easy, with those 3 words, happily ever after. But if I remember anything from our days of ruling Narnia, it's that it was a lot of really hard work and learning,
said Lucy.
Did you ever talk to Tia about this? She knows a thing or two about smiling even when you don't like smiling,
said Louisa. It's not quite the same. She had to control what her emotions were. I have to control my expression when I feel them, said Mirabelle. Oh, I remember what that was like, said Lucy.
It's worse now that I'm so quick to anger, so ready to draw my blade that it's just hard to smile when I want to let my sword do the talking. That island scared me. I don't remember ever feeling that scared in my life, not even on the battlefield. But I had to smile through it and be brave for the man I was rescuing. Even though I wanted to scream and curl up into a ball, I had to be the light in the darkness, literally. But it also made me wonder, what if I snapped? What would happen if I stopped being brave and showed exactly how I was feeling? But I can't, because people's lives depend on me having the answers. It is my legend and legacy that survived the Telmarine invasion of Narnia. And I have to live up to that legend, or else Caspian's reign will be doubted, and your legacies will also be questioned. I stand here almost physically unchanged from the person I was in the Golden Age. And I have to be that person again, even if I've grown up even more, because that means the Mirabelle that the people expect and think of Narnia being prosperous. I am the legacy of the Golden Age. And in order for people to think of those days will return, I have to be the same person I was back then, even if I don't want to be, said Mirabelle. I think you're allowed to change. Granted, I think it will need to be gradual, to give time for Narnia to adjust. But I think that you need to confide all of this in Drinian, so that when it does get to be too much, you can let him help you. He's the one who will be under the eye of all Narnia, to ensure he makes you happy. They love you, and if he hurts you in any way, he could hang for it. It wouldn't matter if he's the king's best friend. If Narnia truly does look to you for its hope and happiness, then there will be an even greater pressure on him to be as good of a partner as he can be for you. I suppose you're right. Perhaps I will tell him tomorrow, said Mirabelle. I take it this means our happy Mirabelle isn't the true Mirabelle anymore, asked Lucy. I don't know. I suppose I won't really know until I'm back home in Cape Paravel, sighed Mirabelle. Aslan will give you the strength you need. Just have faith in him, said Lucy confidently. I can't rely on Aslan for all my answers, and all my strength. I have to rely on myself for most of it. Faith will only take you part of the way. The rest is up to you to do your best, said Mirabelle. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Oh boy, okay, so that was a loaded one. Poor Mira. And poor Lord Rune, I mean, living on that island forever? Ouch. And, God, she is under so much pressure. I do not envy her. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-bino pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.